gonna put you up here. Okay, Jason, if you'll set up the rest. So this is our, of course, you know all the information, but our week-long Pokemon Marathon, and we're honored to have Mr. Nob Ogasawara. I'm going to pronounce your name incorrectly the entire time because I'm very bad.
I'm just Nob.
Just Nob. Okay, that'll make things so much easier for me.
Absolutely, yeah. No.
But so we're about to start our very first auction of the items that you had given us, the signed copies of Pokemon Blue, and that's the one we're giving away here in an hour. And I just wanted to, first of all, ask about your experiences with translating that first generation specifically. Like, are there any stories or things that stick out from that gen that just you really enjoyed?
Oh, enjoyed? Oh man, it was torture pretty much. So
Oh dear.
Especially the first gen was like really, really awful because we're talking Game Boy screen.
Right.
And we're trying to do an RPG on that with, like we were, in the first generation, we were allowed 18 characters per line. But on the second line, we were only allowed 17. So it's not a whole lot of room to write much of anything, huh?
Right.
To get a story across on Game Boy, it's just, if you think about it now, it's insane.
Yeah. It's kind of not similar. It sounds much harder, but it reminds me when I'm trying to get something across on Twitter and just so many characters, but you're trying to get an entire game across and tell a story that way. That's got to be frustrating.
Well, yeah. And this was when, this was in period too, when Nintendo hadn't really done any RPGs until, before they had, Zelda, they had a couple of Dragon Quests, and then Terra Enigma. And that was it. That was all the RPGs they'd done, so nobody really knew how to localize over there.
Right.
So it was all a learning process for all of us. So we were getting text files with documentation that didn't make any sense at all. So like for battle text, we Pikachu used whatever, a move, right? I would see stuff like variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, variable 4, exclamation marks. It was utterly incomprehensible. So it was a learning process for all of us.
We got a question from the chat that I was going to ask, and it's kind of funny. Of course, I know that you've played the game and stuff before, but have you ever? Jandar wants to ask, have you ever caught a missing no before?
I've never run into one, but I did go onto the truck. And, I had to learn how to do it on the internet, of course. But yeah, I did find a truck.
Awesome.
There's no Mew there.
There's no Mew.
There's no Mew there, you lying SOBs.
That is awesome. The copy that not the copy, but the Game Boy Pocket that you sent us, the silver Game Boy Pocket that we're going to be giving away on Friday, is this? So this is the copy you used to translate the first generation red, blue, yellow. One thing I wanted to ask about it is it says red, blue, and yellow. Whenever yellow was localized, did you have to do? I know there's like Team Rocket members and stuff that are in there. Was it time consuming to do yellow? Like, how yellow's just a little bit different than red and blue?
No, they just gave me the text files and they just highlighted, this is new text, do that. And so, okay, right on. And, cheap bastards, you're paying $2,000 for it.
Also in this care package, there is a Zelda shirt. My favorite Zelda game is Majora's Mask, so when I saw this, I was like, holy cow. But, Anna had a good question about it. We're looking at it like, oh, this is awesome, and then it had Rare on the side. I don't know if you know why, but we're like, well, I wonder why it has a Rare logo on the side of it. It might be something that we just were wondering why it did. Maybe you don't know, but it was just a question we had.
It's just a promo thing. I think it's for games or something.
I couldn't tell. It had an E on it, and it looked like a B, but it had Nintendo on the back. We're like, I wonder if Nintendo sent this to him, but when I saw it, I was like...
No, I think it's just for some stupid EV Games promotion thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it just golf shirt is like, yeah, no. So like, you're welcome to it. It's more like it's one of those things that you can't really throw away because it's nice, but it's kind of like too god awful to wear. So it's like somebody's your auntie's Christmas sweater or something.
First of all, French Toast wants to tell you that you're awesome, and someone was specifically talking about the trainers, and each of the trainers have kind of their own. You were able to really get across each of their personalities. Is there any trainer in specific that was your favorite, or that you felt really you're able to give a personality to, or get across something well?
You're asking something that's pretty much 20 years ago.
Yeah, I realize these are.
But there's certain characters I remember specifically, like the laughing hiker.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that was always like ha 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 chew. That's actually a censored character from the Japanese version, because in the Japanese version the guy's not he is laughing.
Yeah.
But he's off his face on magic mushrooms. Well, Japan, huh? Eating magic mushrooms and getting totally wasted and laughing your ass off, not a problem in Japan, but
right.
Not really the case for E10 rated game in this country. So we had to tone that one down. So there's places where you had to water down stuff that flew in Japan, but we couldn't do over here. Just because of the rating system. I mean, it would have been nice if we had a mature rated game. Then I could swear my head off, but no. This is Pokemon, and it's baby's first RPG.
Yeah, I did not know that. Is there any other in translating? I know that you said this is it's a different rating system. Is there any other things that you had to censor that you can remember?
People farting. Right? There's a lot of those. Like when Skunk Tank came out, that was like a nightmare to write, because we couldn't really specifically write fart. So just like break wind, or there's like cases like that where we just cradle our heads and just cry and cry because, well, for instance, like Cyrus in Team Galactic there, Platinum, Diamond, Pearl, something like that. He wants to be God, but in Nintendo land, you can't say that. Nintendo legal they would have lost. They would have had a fit, because we don't touch anything religious in Pokemon.
Right.
It's not done. There's a lot of things you don't touch in Pokemon, but religion was like right out. So, and then here's this boss who's going, I'm going to be God. I'm going to be the ruler to create space, and it's just. Like, how in the world are we going to get around this one? I think we did with Platinum, but yeah, it just there's a lot of that going on. Well, while getting back to first generation, how's the old guy that's lying in the middle of the road blocking your way out of the first town wants coffee?
Anybody know? Yes, the cameraman shaking is giving me a good yes.
Stop there. Yeah. He's not really looking for coffee. He is drunk off his ass, and he's just lying. Again, okay, and not so acceptable over here.
Right.
or nuggets.
Yeah, the golden nuggets.
Golden nuggets, yeah. In Japanese, it was like golden orb or golden balls.
Uh-huh.
Which, means testicles.
Right.
So when the man's offering you his nuggets of wisdom in English, he's actually going, look at my golden balls, look, this morning my golden balls, you can have them. And just, like, no, you can't do that.
These are all things I had no clue about, so this is awesome. I hope that the chat is really enjoying this. I can tell.
Sort of shenanigans we have to water down.
Right. Anybody who's in the chat right now, if you want to, ask questions or chime in. Also on Twitter, tweet at the Speed Gamers, and we're reading the chat. Everybody seems to be having a really good time. So in about half an hour, we're going to be auctioning off Pokemon Blue at 7 p.m. Central, and it is signed by Nob. And that'll be the first of our auction items that Nob has signed that we'll be giving away. So if you want to tweet, spread the word. We're going to be giving that away at 7. I know a lot of collectors are really going to like this. We're speaking specifically on the Pokemon games, but what other series have you done translation in as well?
The first Tenchu, the Game Boy Dragon Quests, Dragon Quest Monsters 2, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was some really, really terrible Yu-Gi-Oh games. Aren't those all terrible? And that was all specifically because of them. And gee, I don't know. I can't remember. Some Fantasy Star game, and I'd have to really think about it. There's a lot. I've done like 50.
Well, that's funny. We have one of the guys that's here right now is a huge Dragon Quest fan, so I'm sure he's right over there. Let's see. I'm going to pull a question here from the chat. We have to ask this. Every time we do a Pokemon marathon, everybody in the room gets asked, do you have a favorite Pokemon, or maybe a top 3 favorite Pokemon?
Oh, you know how it goes. You gotta love them all.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But, geez, I can't. Gyarados, Pikachu, and the owl off the top of my head, Hoot Hoot.
Hoot Hoot.
Yeah, just those ones that just come. But to be honest, I can't remember all their names anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I can't remember gender of my own grandchildren, sort of thing.
Are you a boy or a girl?
This also might be really hard to remember because I know it a while ago, but Slowflake wanted to ask, I want to know about the chat keeps scrolling up. I want to know about the Ranger of Sinnoh, Route 225, who sighs at muscular Pokemon. Do you remember doing a translation specifically for that? The guy, he says Ranger on Sinnoh, Route 225. Apparently he sighs at muscular Pokemon.
Good luck. No. All these games were translated with pretty much the grunt we had. At the time.
Yeah.
The deadlines we had were just hilariously short. Basically, I was working from 7 in the morning till around 11 at night. No holidays for 2-3 months at a time. That's what it took. So I don't know how the hell Nintendo's in-house because, if I was making overtime, I'd be a rich man.
Yeah. Another something they're spamming in the chat. Ask him about Youngster Joey. I'm not sure what about Youngster Joey, but do you
Youngster Joey? What, shorts?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why.
About them being comfy and easy to wear. I think that's oh god, this is so long ago. But I think that's what the guy said.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just told, okay, translate it and make it fit. And okay, all right, And that's in the days when I had 18 characters and 17 characters on line 2. So it was getting it all to fit. I know I could have expanded it more to go, I like shorts. I wear them all the time. They're comfy, easy to wear. You should wear them too. That's what the original Japanese said, but I'm not going to write all that for you. Are you kidding? These games are long-winded enough already. Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Okay, so that question was actually answered there. So you talked about a short deadline. How you might have answered this already. How long? How short actually did you have? When you got done finished translating it, how long before the game would launch over in the U.S.? Was it a matter of months or?
Usually matter of months after I finished. Yeah, it was. The first one was the first one wasn't too bad, but after that they started pushing up the deadlines further and further. And the horrible part was like Game Freak wouldn't give us any text until the games were actually translated and done and on the shelves. So I would actually start working after games were released in Japan.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I didn't have to use any development ROMs. I was actually being given the actual game itself. Here you go, work off that. That's why the Game Boy you guys are rafting off is the one that I worked on.
Awesome. Well, anybody that's just tuning in, we are on Skype right now with the translator of Pokemon from Japanese to English from Gens 1 through, you did 1 through 4, correct? Yes, 1 through 4.
Yeah.
And
as well as, so, what is it, the Mystery Dungeon games?
Mystery Dungeon.
Mystery Dungeons, yeah, and a couple of the Rangers.
Oh, right. I can't remember the names of the Mystery Dungeons, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember them either.
It's like Red Rescue Team, Blue Rescue Team.
Red
Rescue Team, Blue Rescue Team, and Explorers of Time, and Explorers of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Those are good games.
Can Space Coyote wants to know, can you remember, I know that you said that you've actually had input on naming some of the Pokemon. Are there any Pokemon in specific that you can remember that you're responsible for suggesting or naming?
Hop, skip, and jump.
Oh.
Right, hop, hip, and you skip blue, and I can't remember the other one.
Jumpluff.
Yeah, Jumpluff. There you go. Yeah, Staravia, Staraptor, Miss Magius. Gee, I don't know. There's a few along there somewhere. See, originally I wasn't allowed to do any of the stuff that was in all capitals. All the item names, the Pokemon names, place names, etc. I wasn't allowed to touch that until like around Generation 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff that flew under my radar that I look at now and I'm just like, oh my god, that's horrible. Feraligatr, like what in the Christ?
We had a question from Godzilla. He says he was wondering, as a translator, were you self-taught Japanese, or did you have schooling, or was it something that you learned at home?
I was born there, so
okay.
Parents taught me by violence that you speak Japanese at home.
Right.
Yeah, so it just stuck.
Cool, let's see.
See, I got into all this I went to Japan during the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, and after I graduated from university because I had nothing else to do, and I started writing for GamePro and EGM. And when I went to a game show and I interviewed Peter Main of Nintendo America at the time, and he took a shine to me and he poached me for Nintendo, and that's how it all started.
Awesome. Here's a question. I'm not sure about the wording of it. You might know it. It says, how did you get Hop? Is there a story between Hop and Splash in the translation? Someone was asking about that.
Yeah. I mean, I would have called it flop myself. See, it's one of those words, again, it's all capital stuff. I was never allowed to touch until Generation 3. So I had to live with words that just say, well, that's terrible. But that's the way it went. For instance, stuff like Mr. Mime. Mm-hmm. I told them we're going to get in trouble if they ever do genders down the road. But the answer was like, yeah, don't worry about it. No problem. It'll, we'll worry about it when that happens. Well, you have to live with what you wrote earlier.
All right. Yes, we are on Skype with Mr. Nob Ogasawara. What are your opinions, if you have an opinion, on the dubbed versions of the Pokemon anime? Did you ever catch any of those, watch any of those, and do you have an opinion on them?
I didn't really watch very much of them. I did, I did watch the first couple of episodes and that, but yeah, when I got zero time to watch TV.
Cool.
But I thought they did a pretty damn good job. I mean, the writing quality was top notch. I mean, the whole thing. I think the whole success of Pokemon depended on the anime.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, the game came out long before the anime did, but here the animation broke, and then at the very same, simultaneous, all the card games were released. The cards were released, the games were released, and a whole movement was born just instantly then. It was astounding.
Right. Yeah, I remember when it came out here. Yeah, you had everything from the cards, the anime, anything you could get your hands on, candy. It was just a huge. You go out to recess, and that was the talk of the town, and it was like that for. I mean, obviously there's still a Pokemon craze, but I mean, I felt like around like 2000, it really just dominated everything. No,
Yeah,
late 90s, really.
Yeah, it was astounding. I mean, we were told by Nintendo's higher ups, like, hey, if we don't sell 200,000 copies of this game, you guys are fired.
Wow.
Was it 400,000 copies originally?
Well, y'all,
And that
that
disappeared instantly.
far surpassed that. So,
It's just we didn't know. We didn't expect any of that to happen. I mean, this was for a dying system. The Game Boy was pretty much dead by the time it came out.
mm-hmm.
And an RPG that there hadn't been an RPG success over here.
Right. Yeah, it was especially an RPG. It was rare for not only Nintendo to have an RPG, but it was risky to have an RPG on a handheld. So it was kind of like a double risk there, but it definitely paid off.
Yeah, well, it's imagine playing a RPG on a cell phone now. It's just
Yeah.
God. I don't mean a smartphone. I mean like one of those old smartphones,
Yeah.
Cell phone. Huh? So yeah, I didn't see this coming.
DJ Gamer wants to know: are you still doing translation projects for other games? If so, what?
Yeah, I did. What is it? Binary Domain a few years ago, and I've done a couple of like small 3D tanks or something like for 3DS and that. And I'm working on. Well, not working on. We're trying to land a big project right now, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Cool.
For PlayStation 4 or something.
Oh, cool. All right, we're taking questions from the chat. We've got all eyes on it. So if you have any questions for Nob, we're looking, and I'll relay the info to you. We're now about 20 minutes away from that first auction from Pokemon Blue, signed by Nob. So I know it's going to go for a ton. And if anybody else in the room has questions for him too, just feel free to come and ask me, and I'll relay it to him as well.
I do.
Oh, Karamek's got a question.
Ask about Hoppip having Splash.
I don't. He was asking about Hoppip and Splash.
Don't ask me technical questions.
No, it's not a technical
I really
question.
don't know. I mean, if you showed me pictures of Pokemon, asked me to name them, I couldn't do that either. So, don't know. You'll make me look bad.
All right, another one of our gamers, Blau Major, has a question. I'm gonna let him ask it for you. Here, 1 second.
Okay, if you had to censor fart jokes, how did you get one of the Pokemon with a cry that's basically a fart? And I'm talking about Skuntank.
That was a question from Blau Major. If you're able to answer it.
I'm pleading fifth. I don't remember. So long ago. Holy cow. Ask me what I had for breakfast or something.
That's a good question.
Let's see. Minnie ask him about the movie cameos in DPPT that were not picked up by the translation team. Did they realize afterwards?
Oh,
Is Diamond.
In Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, there
Oh.
are cameos by characters that are named after characters from the Pokemon movies.
Oh.
But they don't have the names in the English version
Oh.
of the game.
Okay, so apparently, were you able to hear that?
Totally not my league.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see, DJ Gamer. Yeah, we answered your question, DJ. I think I asked this earlier. Are there any favorite lines of dialogue that you've ever translated? I think that was what I opened up with.
I think the only time I actually wrote something specifically selfishly was when that detective waved farewell in Platinum. That was my farewell as well. My job is done.
Did
So
you
that's
know?
about it.
Did you know on the last in Gen 4, that last game? Did you know that was the last of the series that you'd be translating?
Yes.
Oh, you
Yes.
did.
Yes. So yeah, there was a little bit of melancholy in there.
Yeah. French Toast asks, was there any line that was particularly difficult to translate for whatever reason?
Oh, it was all hard, honey.
It was all hard.
It was. Well, the thing was, if anyone can read Japanese, Pokemon's writing is very much like, I wish I could have won with the Pokemon that my father got for me from America. It's all really just weird, convoluted sentence structures, so it was all pretty hard. And trying to shoehorn stuff in that, like I said, for the first couple were just phenomenally hard.
Taryn wants to know, do you play any video games on your own time? And if so, what are some of your favorites?
Freaky Forms? 3DS Freaky Forms. Nothing that requires a whole bunch of, reflexes now. You can see I'm an old guy. So, like, what is it, Picross? Mahjong? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Art Academy. That's very strenuous. Ace Attorneys. Yeah, there we go.
When the 3DS came out, it had a kind of a rough start in the beginning sales wise. Did you think it was gonna pick up, or did you have confidence that the 3DS would eventually take off, or were you of the mindset that you think it was gonna kind of flurry out?
Hank, I was furious actually because I thought it was the neatest thing ever. I still think it's the neatest thing ever. It's 3D, man. Holy cow! It's got all sorts of games I want to play on it. I mean, I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on this thing. I can take 3D pictures with it. No,
Right.
I love this. Yes. So,
I do as well.
So I was kind of annoyed that, well, it was too expensive to begin with, so okay, all right. But no, I thought it was going to succeed. The Wii U was, I don't know. I guess it's going to succeed now because of the Smash Brothers and stuff and all the really strong.
It does not have anything. Well, someone check it out.
Uh-oh. Skype might has crashed. Nob, if you can hear me, it's frozen. Chat, can you still see us and hear us? Oh, the call dropped. Let's see. Chat, can you still see us? Oh, Nob, can you hear me now?
Yeah. We lost connection there.
It says we're in the call.
I don't see a picture of me. But anyway. Oh.
Everything went blank. All right, Chad. If you can still see us, and let us know if everything's still working on Skype. We can still see you. Okay. The call just dropped. We'll try to get back in the call with Nob. He's the translator of Pokemon Gens 1 through 4, and we're about to be giving away a signed copy of Pokemon Blue. We've also tomorrow have a signed copy of Pokemon Red. These are both given away at 7 o'clock each day. And then we've got a Game Boy Pocket that he used to translate Pokemon, the first generation, Red, Blue, and Yellow. We have the Game Boy Pocket that he used, and we're going to be giving that away on Friday, June 27th at 5 p.m. Let's see. I'm going to try recalling Nob. We can see you, but not
Well, I
Nob.
can
All right,
hear
let's,
you.
let's try recalling this. Nob, if you can hear me, I'm going to try to recall you. All right, we're going to try to get him back on the line. Skype is having a little bit of issues.
All right,
There we go. Sorry,
Nice.
Skype dropped off for a second.
Can you hear me? No.
Oh, but the sound
we're
went
still
off.
trying to pick up here. Can you hear me?
I can see you fine. We're trying to get the audio in. Let's see.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. I think
Okay.
we're back. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Skype picked up, it seemed, a little bit.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. All right. Can you ask if Mewtwo had a different or clearer origin in the original Japanese? Do you remember anything specifically about maybe Mewtwo's original Pokedex? If his backstory is a little bit different. I know it's a it's a really
South
long time.
America. He's from South America, right?
What was that?
He's from South America. I can't remember. Holy cow.
Oh, Mewtwo. Yes, he was an experiment. But I'm not sure what the. I haven't actually looked too much into it other than the English Pokedex that's already.
In the games, you find the little notebooks. where
Oh,
it's
the
listing where he
notebooks.
came from and stuff.
Right.
I think they're wondering if in the Japanese version the notebooks like.
Yeah, do you remember if any of the what those notebooks were in Cinnabar Island, right? Yeah, there was notebooks kind of spread all out and
Think about it, silly. You broke it.
Years ago. Years ago. My kids were still in diapers when I was doing this.
What's wrong with you people?
I'm ready to have grandchildren now. Come on. Oh, Lord.
let's see. Okay, remember keep your questions coming in the chat and I will read them as I see them. And they don't even have to be Pokemon related. Maybe you have a maybe you want to ask him what he had for breakfast. And then maybe it's whatever you'd like. Let's see. Did you know about Mew? Like I know that Mew's a game that came along, it wasn't in the original 150. Was it something? I don't know if that'd be something that translator that they would, tell. But yeah, it's a question. Did you know about Mew at first whenever you were translating the game? Was it was it even included in the game originally? Like, did he have to be translated? I guess he did.
I mean,
Well, yeah, of course it has to be translated in the game because you
Right.
can't download anything to the Game Boy game. So I mean, the first generation was already out a couple of years in Japan anyway, so we
Right.
knew about, yeah. It actually came out on my birthday,
Oh, awesome!
which is why I picked it up, right?
It was
For
a
that.
sign. Let's see. What were your first impressions of Pokemon when you first played it? That's from Space Coyote.
I thought it was a pretty solid little RPG. I thought it was fun. I mean, I played it a lot before Nintendo even contacted me to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a lot of hours. I stopped. I hit 255 and kept on going. So I was like, yeah, I'm a Pokemon master. So I met people like you guys.
Let's see. All right, let me see. Scrolling through the chat here. Sorry, just trying to find some good questions for you. Do you have the music in the series? Do you have any favorite pieces from any of the generations that you typically enjoy? Maybe some trainer themes or anything into the music at all? Nope.
I don't, I usually turn the sound off. And I turn the battle animations off too.
Let's see. Okay. Blau Measure, he's coming up for another question, so I'm going to hand him the mic 1 second.
Are there any bugs that came about as a result of translating any games?
I don't think so. I don't think we made that kind of really horrible mistake. Mistranslations, yes, but text-based bugs that screwed up the gameplay, I don't think so. Unless you want to prove me wrong.
I don't think any of us know of
We'll ask
any other.
SDA.
We'll ask SDA. Yeah.
Yeah, the only game-breaking bug that I know of is in Gold and Silver. I think in one of the dungeons where you push around the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one way of pushing around the rocks where you could just actually trap yourself forever. And unless you have the rope, you're just screwed.
Right.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
Jack asks, was the black belt Nob named after you?
I think so. I didn't have access to files like that, so it's just something they slipped in on me. A lot of times I just see, variables. I have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on.
Let's see. Virtue 330 says, do you have a favorite protagonist in the Pokemon series?
A favorite protagonist?
Mm-hmm.
Like Oak? Well, Oak's not really a protagonist, so I guess, I don't know. I mean, they don't talk or nothing. They're just ciphers, so
This is
I would, just the first one, I don't know, yeah.
yeah. We'll go with red.
Although,
Yeah.
I guess him talking about.
Well, Red's cool because he's a silent, strong silent type in Gold and Silver.
Yeah, that's true.
Walk up to him and he says nothing in front of you.
Did your kids ever play Pokemon?
Only my son. The other two are bad children.
Let's see. Starlight Searcher says, what is Nob's favorite trainer class? Or do you mean, like, does he mean specific, like maybe the type?
Like cue ball, or
This
Yeah.
or like the private eye. The private detective. The private eye, by the way, is not really a private eye. He's actually a gambler.
That's what he looks. Isn't he like bent over on his knees?
Yeah. He's a gambler, but there's no way we couldn't do gambling. We're not allowed to use the word gambler or gambling. We couldn't. The concept of gambling is not allowed because of Australia's stupid laws.
You heard it here, Rust. he's our Australian commentator. So yeah, I guess Celadon City, and I think they did this in the animated bit. It was kind of like portrayed as kind of a pseudo Vegas, style look. But yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so there, again, it's one of those things that's allowed in Japan, but gambler over here was not allowed. And we're like, there was talk of, maybe we'll change the graphics, but now we just said, well, if we can squirm around it just using text, we'll do that. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Anna has a question here. One
You
second.
brought up mistranslations. Like, are there any mistranslations you didn't catch until after the game had come out that, like,
Okay.
makes you feel like, I wish I got that?
She asked about mistranslations and if there were any mistranslations that you caught after the fact that you were like, oh man, I wish I would have, caught that.
There's a lot I regret. Just reading over Pokemon text later, it's just like, damn it, why'd I write it that way? That sounds like a retard. But there were stuff in the, not the Pokedex, but the moves descriptions that were completely wrong. I think in like Gold and Silver there were like 3 or 4 that I actually had to go online and ask people, the crazy people that play thousands and thousands of hours of Pokemon, identify them for me, and they were quick to jump on that.
Oh, really? Let's see. There was one. Some guy is very persistent with one of the questions, and I keep missing it. Let's see. Someone asked specifically about the move Sucker Punch. If that is that a mistranslated move, or is it?
Pretty much. I was really proud of myself too, because I thought, Sucker Punch. And then of course they would come out with a move, or it's not a move, a hold item that improves the power of punch moves.
Mm.
Well, Sucker Punch isn't a punch move, so it doesn't work for that. It's just, it's on stuff like that Pokemon Pokemon turns. There's a lot of stuff that we wish we could have fixed later on. Like, for instance, words like poison pen for Nidoran. Poison pen sounds like it's just so stunningly stupid sounding. I mean, it should have been toxic barb,
That would have been cooler.
right? But
I agree.
no. But some people don't listen, and here we are, 21st century, and we're still stuck with poison pen Pokemon. or what is that? Slowpoke is like a hermit crab Pokemon. Like, come on. But that's how it goes.
Awesome. Well, we're running right up against 7 o'clock. So we're about to start auctioning off this Pokemon Blue. I want to really thank you for taking time out to talk with us. And are you still cool with coming with us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome, and thank you for interviewing me. As you can tell, I'm not a professional interviewer at all, but thank you for. You've been really awesome, and I appreciate it.
I'm not a professional interviewee, so we're doing good on that score.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, and it looks like Katrina specifically wants to give you a big hug. So, thank you once again, and I guess we'll see you on Tuesday.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be
Thank you.
hanging out in the chat every so often. So yeah,
Awesome.
Okay.